The massive alien ships hung in space like black wounds against the dying stars. Admiral Kethvara pressed her forehands against the command center's metal rail, watching the enemy fleet grow larger on her screens. It moved toward her small group of 300 coalition vessels like a dark tide of death. "How long until they reach us?" she asked her weapons officer. 6 hours, Admiral. Maybe less." Kethvara's heart sank. 6 hours until the end of everything. Behind them, the planet Sanctuary Prime held over 1 billion refugees from worlds the Hegemon Empire had already destroyed. Men, women, and children from dozens of different species, all hoping the Coalition fleet could protect them. She looked at her tactical display again. 300 ships against 50,000? The math was simple and cruel. It would all die today. "Any word from the other fleets?" she asked, though she already knew the answer.
"Nothing, Admiral."
"The Stellar Federation has closed their borders. The Titan worlds went silent 3 months ago. Even the Voidwalkers have disappeared." Kethvara nodded slowly. The galaxy's greatest powers had all chosen to hide rather than fight. She could not blame them. Hegemon Empire had conquered half the known galaxy in just 10 years. Their ships were faster, their weapons stronger, their tactics perfect. Every species that had fought them had been destroyed or enslaved. "Admiral," her communication officer called out, the refugee transports are asking about evacuation plans." "Them, ... double quotes." Kethvara paused. "Where could they go?" Every safe system was already full or had closed its borders. "Tell them we will hold the line as long as possible." It was a lie, and everyone on the bridge knew it. They might last an hour against the Hegemon fleet. Maybe 2 if they were lucky, but what else could she say? That they were all going to die? That the last free system in this sector would fall before the day was over? The bridge fell quiet, except for the steady beeping of sensors tracking the approaching enemy. Kethvara closed her eyes and tried to remember what her homeworld had looked like before the Hegemon ships had turned it into burning glass. "Admiral," the sensor officer's voice cracked with excitement. "I'm picking up something. Ship just came out of hyperspace." Hegemon Scout. "No, ma'am. The design is ... strange. Very primitive. It's small. Maybe 1/10 the size of our cruisers. The hull looks like it was built from scrap metal." Kethvara opened her eyes, put it on screen. The main display showed a small, ugly ship that looked nothing like the sleek vessels of the Coalition or the dark, angular ships of the Hegemon. It had a blue flag painted on its side with white stars and words in an alien language that read US Defiant. "They're sending a message, Admiral. Let me hear it." The screen changed to show the bridge of the strange ship. A young alien male sat in the captain's chair. He had dark hair and wore a simple uniform. His species looked similar to several others in the galaxy, but something about him seemed different. Calmer, more confident than anyone facing 50,000 enemy ships had any right to be. "Admiral Kethvara," the alien said. "I am Captain Kimte Hyen of the United Earthship Defiant. We received your distress call." Kethvara felt her heart skip. "Captain, you need to leave this system immediately. The Hegemon fleet has 50,000 ships. You cannot help us." "We're aware of the situation," the human replied. "Earth stands with the Coalition. No one fights alone. Captain, with respect, you have 1 ship. 1 small ship. They will destroy you in seconds." The human captain smiled, and for a moment Kethvara saw something in his eyes that she had not seen in months. Hope. "Admiral, you're looking at this wrong. We didn't bring 1 ship." He leaned forward. "We brought a storm." Before Kethvara could ask what he meant, her sensor officer gasped. "Admiral, I'm reading massive energy signatures. Ships are appearing all around us." The tactical display exploded with new contacts. Hundreds of ships materialized from nowhere, all flying the same blue flag as the Defiant. They came in every size and shape imaginable. Some looked like warships, others like cargo vessels, and still others like nothing Kethvara had ever seen before. "How many?" she whispered. "Still counting, Admiral." "Over 3,000 so far, and more appearing every second." The human captain was still on screen, watching her with that same calm confidence. "Admiral, this is just the first wave. Earth doesn't abandon its friends. But how? How did you get so many ships here so quickly? We didn't come quickly, the human replied. We came prepared. When Earth heard about the Hegemon Empire 6 months ago, we started getting ready. Every human world contributed ships and crews. We've been waiting for someone to ask for help. Kethvara stared at the display showing thousands of human ships. Taking positions around her fleet, you came here to die for strangers? No, Admiral. We came here to live with friends. We were very hard to kill. The first Hegemon ships were entering weapon range now, their dark hulls gleaming with deadly purpose. But for the first time in months, Kethvara felt something besides despair. She felt hope. The storm had arrived. Captain Kim Tae-hein watched the enemy ships on his screen and felt perfectly calm. Around him, his crew worked quietly, their hands moving over controls with practiced ease. The bridge of the Defiant was small and cramped compared to the massive coalition warships, but every person knew exactly what to do. Status report, Tae-han said. All weapons ready, Captain, replied Commander Lee Jin-woo from his station. Our torpedoes are loaded and the defense guns are online. Communications? Lieutenant Park Manesia looked up from her controls. Admiral Song confirms all our ships are in position. Captain Nome's carriers are ready. At arm. The Ancient Inter escort. Ships are standing by. Tae-hein nodded. On his screen, he could see the Hegemon fleet moving toward them like a wall of black death. Each enemy ship was 3 times larger than his biggest vessel. Their weapons could destroy planets. Their shields had never been broken by any known weapon captain, called Dr. Choi Soo-jin from the science station. The enemy ships are powering up their main guns. They will be able to fire in 12 minutes, time until they reach us. 14 minutes, sir? Tae-hoon touched his communication. Panel, all human ships. This is Captain Tae-hein. Begin Operation Thunderstorm. Show them what Earth can do. Across the void of space, the human fleet began to move. But they did not move like any military force the galaxy had ever seen. Instead of neat rows and careful formations, they scattered in all directions, like leaves in a strong wind. The UES Incheon, a huge ship that looked like it had been built from spare parts, released thousands of small fighter craft. These tiny ships immediately flew off in different directions, creating a cloud of movement that confused enemy sensors. The UES Bizan, a heavy cruiser covered in extra armor welded to its hull, suddenly accelerated past the other ships. It moved so fast that it seemed to disappear, only to reappear thousands of kilometers away. Destroyer groups wove between the larger vessels, their paths seeming random and chaotic. But Tae-hein could see the pattern. His captains were creating a web of overlapping fire zones without the enemy realizing it. Admiral Kethvara is calling us, Manesia reported. Put her through. The alien admiral appeared on the screen, her forearms moving nervously. Captain Tae-han, your fleet formation is very strange. Are you sure your ships know what they are doing, Admiral? We cannot afford to fight in neat lines, Tae-hein replied. He watched as a group of human frigates suddenly changed direction, moving together without any visible signal. We are not here to look pretty, we are here to win. But the Hegemon tactics are perfect. Their formations have never been defeated. Is because they have never fought humans before. Tae-han smiled grimly. We do not break formations, Admiral. We ignore them completely. The first Hegemon ships opened fire. Massive beams of energy lanced across space, each one powerful enough to destroy a city. But the human ships were no longer where the enemy computers expected them to be. They twisted and turned, rolled and dived, each captain moving as if they could see the future. Ships that should have been destroyed slipped through gaps in the app. Enemy fire that lasted only seconds. Incoming fire, Dr. Choi shouted. Multiple plasma beams, very high energy. Evasive maneuvers. Pattern 7. The Defiant suddenly jerked to the side as Lieutenant Yoon Ha-jeon threw the ship into a spinning dive. The small vessel danced between the enemy fire like a bird avoiding a storm, its hull groaning under the stress of impossible turns. Return. Fire, Tae-hein commanded. The Defiant's weapons fired, but not in the steady volleys that most ships used. Instead, they shot in bursts that seemed random until the pattern became clear. Each shot was timed to hit weak spots in the enemy's defenses that would not exist for another few seconds. Around them, the human fleet fought in ways that no military academy had ever taught. Ships appeared where they should not be, fired from angles that should have been impossible, and somehow managed to work together despite using different tactics every few minutes. "Captain," Menesio said, excitement in her voice, "I'm getting reports from all our ships. The enemy cannot lock their weapons onto us. Their computers are confused." "Of course they are," Tehan replied. He watched as the EU's Guangzhou suddenly appeared behind an enemy cruiser, its guns already firing. "They're trying to fight a war? We are having a conversation." For the first time in their history of conquest, the hegemon fleet began to waver. Their perfect formations started to break apart as human ships struck from impossible directions, vanished into sensor shadows, and reappeared where no ship should be able to go. The enemy had expected a simple battle. Instead, they found themselves trying to fight smoke and lightning. Admiral Tehoin said, opening a channel to the coalition fleet. Now would be a good time to join the dance. Admiral Kethvara gripped her command rail with all four hands as she watched the impossible battle unfold. The human ships moved through space like living things, appearing and disappearing in ways that made her head spin. Her tactical computers could not track them. Her weapons officers could not predict where they would be next. "Analysis report," she ordered her tactical. "Officer Admiral, I cannot give you a proper report," the officer said, his voice shaking. "The humans are using too many different fighting styles at once. Their formations change every 30 seconds, but they follow patterns that should not exist." On the main screen, a human ship called the U's Soul suddenly appeared inside a group of enemy vessels. The hegemon ships, caught completely by surprise, began firing on each other in confusion as the human cruiser vanished again. It reappeared 2,000 kilometers away, next to a damaged coalition ship. "What are they doing?" Kethvara whispered. Her communication officer looked up. "Admiral, the human ship Soul is asking permission to dock with the Bright Wing. They want to send medical teams aboard." "In the middle of a battle?" "Yes, Admiral. They say they have doctors ready to help our wounded." Kethvara felt her heart stop. In 10,000 years of space warfare, she had never seen anyone offer medical help to aliens during active combat. "Give them permission. Tell all our ships to work with the human rescue teams." Across the battlefield, the true nature of the Earth fleet began to show itself. These were not just warships. They were floating cities, each one carrying not only weapons and soldiers, but doctors, engineers, teachers, and families. The U.S. Daegu fought 2 enemy destroyers while simultaneously sending medical shuttles to help damaged coalition vessels. The UES Ulsan, a massive engineering ship disguised as a battle cruiser, extended repair arms to fix a coalition frigate's broken shields while its weapons continued to fire on enemy targets. Captain Kim Tae-hoon stood calmly on his bridge, coordinating the chaos with quiet efficiency. "Achdinwu, target the enemy command ship's communication array. Menesio, open a channel to all coalition vessels." "Channel open, Captain." "Coalition fleet, this is Captain Tehan. We are going to try something that is either very smart or very stupid. When I give the signal, I need every ship to fire at the coordinates we are sending you. Do not ask why. Just trust us." Admiral Kethvara felt her mandibles click with worry. "Captain, those coordinates are empty space." "No, Admiral, but they are about to be exactly where we need them to be." The Defiant suddenly shot forward faster than should have been possible, its hull glowing from overheated engines. Behind it, the entire human fleet began to move together perfectly, their seemingly random patterns suddenly making sense. "By the 7 suns," Kethvara breathed, "they are hurting them." The proud hegemon fleet found themselves being pushed around, like cattle by ships that should not exist, using tactics that broke every rule of space combat. Human vessels appeared and disappeared, struck and vanished, each attack pushing the enemy ships toward a specific point in space. The hegemon ships tried to maintain their formations, but the humans gave them no chance. Every time they tried to regroup, another human ship would appear behind them, or above them, or somehow inside their formation. The enemy commanders, trained in perfect military tactics, could not adapt to fighting opponents who seemed to ignore all military logic. Coalition fleet, fire on the coordinates we sent you in 3.2.1. Fire now. Every coalition ship fired at the same time, their combined weapons creating a wall of energy in what appeared to be empty space. For a moment, nothing happened. Then the Hegemon flagship, pushed by the constant pressure of human attacks, appeared directly in the path of the energy wall. The massive enemy ship, its shields weakened by hours of harassment, took the full force of the coalition firepower. Its hull cracked open like an egg, atmosphere streaming out of dozens of holes as explosions lit up its interior. Enemy flagship is disabled, Kethvara's tactical officer reported, his voice filled with disbelief. They are asking to surrender. Tahian's calm voice came through the communication channel. Admiral, would you like to accept their surrender, or should we handle it?
Captain.
How did you know they would be there? Admiral, humans have been herding animals for 50,000 years. Spaceships are not that different. They just move up and down as well as left and right. As more and more Hegemon ships began to surrender, Kethvara realized she was seeing something that would change the galaxy forever. These humans had not just won a battle. They had rewritten the rules of war itself. But more than that, they had done it while saving every coalition vessel they could reach, treating wounded enemies with the same care as their own people, and somehow making it all look easy. But the most amazing thing was not their fighting ability or their technology. It was their attitude. They fought like they were helping friends, not destroying enemies. They won like they were solving a problem, not conquering a foe. Captain Tahian, she said, her voice full of wonder. What are you people? We are human. Admiral, we are exactly what we have always been. We just brought enough friends to help. The storm had broken the enemy, but it had also brought something new to the galaxy. Hope. Dr. Yu Jaemin appeared on the Coalition medical ship in a flash of light, her transport beams still glowing around her feet. The alien medical staff stared at her in shock. She had just traveled through the middle of a space battle to reach their wounded. I am Dr. Yu from the human ship Mokpo, she said, pulling out her medical scanner. I specialize in treating different alien species. What do you need help with? The head alien doctor, Dr. Veltara, waved two of her forearms toward the rows of injured beings. We have 17 different species here, Doctor. Some have body types we have never seen before. Our computers do not know how to help them. That is okay, you said? Already moving toward a wounded crystal warrior whose silicon-based body was completely alien to her. Humans are very good at learning new things quickly. She worked with a speed that amazed the alien doctors. Her instruments seemed to adapt to each patient's unique biology through a mix of advanced technology and pure instinct. When her scanner could not read a patient's vital signs, she created new settings. When normal treatments failed, she invented new ones on the spot. How are you doing this? Dr. Veltara asked as you successfully saved a methane breather whose entire species was supposed to be incompatible with coalition medicine. Pattern recognition, you explained while continuing to work. All life follows certain basic rules. You just have to know how to look for them. Meanwhile, in the debris field where the battle had raged, Engineer Chief Kim Daeho was performing his own miracle. His ship, the UES Genju, had wrapped its massive repair arms around a damaged coalition battlecruiser that had 17 holes in its hull. Chief, his assistant, Petty Officer Han Bora, called from her console. The Stellar Wind's main reactor is completely alien technology. Our repair systems cannot connect with it, and we will make them connect. Daeho replied, his hands moving over controls that were rewriting themselves in real time. Biora, remember when we fixed those Centauri cargo ships? You mean when we had to rebuild their entire engine system using coffee makers and spare parts? Exactly. Same idea here, just bigger. The human repair teams worked with a combination of advanced technology and creative problem-solving that left the coalition engineers speechless. Did not just fix broken systems, improve them, often using materials and methods that should not have worked but somehow did. Captain, Song Moran coordinated the rescue operations from her massive ship, the UES Daegu. Her vessel served as both a hospital and a refugee center. Her crew had taken aboard over 3,000 coalition people from damaged ships, treating them not as burdens but as honored guests. Captain, her second-in-command, Commander Park Jae-sung, reported, "We have a situation. Hegemon prisoners. Want to speak with you, prisoners?" Song looked confused. "We do not have any prisoners." "Well, technically no, Captain. The surrendered Hegemon crew are calling themselves prisoners. They seem confused about how we are treating them." Song walked to the cargo bay where the Hegemon people were being held. She found them in a state of bewilderment. They were receiving the same medical care and food as the coalition refugees. Their wounded were being treated by the same doctors, who had been fighting them minutes before. A Hegemon officer approached her, his insect-like armor scarred from battle. "Are you the one called Captain?" "I am Captain Song Moran, yes. I am Sub-Commander Thakvar of the Hegemon fleet. I must ask, when do the executions begin?" Song stared at him in genuine confusion. "Executions? There will not be any executions. But we are your prisoners. We fought against you. In Hegemon space, prisoners are always executed or enslaved." "You are not in Hegemon space," Song said gently. "You are in human space now. And humans do not execute prisoners. We help them become better people." The Hegemon officer's confusion grew deeper. "Better people?" "Yes. Would you like to learn about human culture? Maybe learn a useful skill? We have excellent education programs." As word spread through the combined fleet about how the humans were treating their former enemies, something amazing began to happen. Hegemon officers began asking for asylum, not because they feared punishment, but because they were curious about a species that could win a war and then immediately try to make friends with their enemies. Admiral Kethvara watched it. All from her command bridge, her forearms crossed in thought. Her communication officer looked up from his station. "Admiral, we are receiving a message from Earth. They want to know if we need more medical supplies." "Engineering help or teachers?" "Teachers? Yes, Admiral. Apparently they have thousands of teachers ready to help in case any of our people want to learn about human culture, science, or philosophy." They brought teachers to a war zone. According to the message, humans bring teachers everywhere. They say you never know when someone might want to learn something new. As the last fires of battle died out, the human fleet began the long work of healing. They did not just repair ships. They rebuilt hope. They did not just treat wounds. They treated the pain that war itself causes. In the depths of space, where the galaxy's most feared empire had expected to find only death and conquest, they found something that would change everything. A species that measured victory not by what they destroyed, but by what they saved. 3 weeks after the Great Battle, the galaxy was still trying to understand what had happened. The Hegemon Empire, which had conquered half of known space in 10 years, had not only been defeated, but had begun peacefully surrendering entire star systems to human administrators, who promised partnership instead of conquest. Captain Imtehen stood at the window of his ship. Watching human and coalition vessels work together to repair the defense stations around the Sanctuary Prime, the sight still amazed him. Former enemies worked side by side, sharing technology and knowledge as if they had been friends for centuries. "Captain." Lieutenant Park Manesio approached with a data pad. "Admiral Kethvara is here for the final meeting. Send her in." The alien admiral entered, carrying various reports in her forearms. Over the past weeks, she had become fascinated by human culture, especially their approach to solving conflicts through cooperation rather than force. Admiral Tehine said, pointing to the window, "How are the integration programs working?" "Better than anyone hoped," Kethvara replied, her mandibles clicking in what humans had learned was a sign of happiness. "Former Hegemon territories are asking to join the coalition at a rate of 3 systems per day. More importantly, they are requesting human advisors to help them transition. And the former prisoners—" "What prisoners?" Kethvara asked, then caught herself. "Ah, you mean the former Hegemon personnel? 87% have asked for asylum?" The rest want to return home to share what they learned about human culture. Tehan nodded, turning back to the window. What about the hegemon leadership? Supreme Admiral Vactor has requested a personal meeting with Earth's leaders. He says he wants to understand how humans can be so effective without using fear as a weapon. The door opened, and Commander Li Jinwu entered. Captain, we have new orders from Earth Command. What are they sending us now? The Second Colonial Fleet, sir. 300 ships, including the new medical vessels and engineering ships. They also want to know if we need more teachers, artists, or chefs. Kethvara's eyes widened. They are sending artists, Dan musicians, poets, and storytellers. Jinwu confirmed. Fleet Admiral Nam believes that military victory is only the first step. The real work begins with cultural exchange. Your species continues to amaze me, Kethvara said. In 3 weeks, you have accomplished what diplomats thought would take decades. The Outer Rim is more stable now than it has been in centuries. We had help? Tehan replied. The Coalition provided the foundation. We just added the storm. The communication system beeped, and Dr. Choi Sujin's voice came through the speakers. Captain, you need to see this. We are receiving a transmission from the Titan worlds. All 3 officers looked at each other in surprise. The Titan worlds had been silent for over a year, their mysterious inhabitants hiding behind impenetrable barriers when the Hegemon Empire began its expansion. Put it through to this room. The window changed to show a being unlike any the galaxy had seen before. It was tall and luminous, with features that seemed to shift between different species. When it spoke, its voice carried harmonics that suggested vast intelligence and ancient loneliness. Greetings, humans of Earth. I am Keeper Zelthera of the Titan worlds. We have watched your actions in the Outer Rim with great interest. This is Captain Kim Tae-han of the United Earth ship Defiant. We are honored by your contact. The honor is ours, Captain. We withdrew from galactic affairs when the Hegemon Empire began its expansion because we believed the galaxy had forgotten the principles of cooperation and growth. Your species has proven us wrong. Kethvara stepped forward. Keeper Zalthara, the Coalition has tried to contact the Titan worlds for generations. And now that contact is possible, Admiral Kethvara. The humans have reminded us that hiding is not strength, it is just hiding. We wish to propose an alliance. The Titan world's knowledge, the Coalition's stability, and humanity's unique way of solving problems. What do you have in mind? Ahayan asked. A new kind of galactic community. Not an empire built on conquest, but a federation built on mutual benefit. The humans have shown that it is possible to win wars without creating enemies, to achieve victory without demanding surrender. As the transmission ended, the 3 officers stood in silence, thinking about what this meant. Finally, Kethvara spoke. Captain, I must ask. When your species received our distress call, did you know this would happen? Did you plan for the Hegemon Empire to surrender? For entire systems to join the Coalition? For the Titan worlds to come out of hiding? Diane smiled, the expression both humble and confident. Admiral, humans have a saying, no plan survives contact with the enemy. We did not plan for any of these specific things to happen. Then how did you know what to do? We planned for people, he said simply. We planned to treat everyone we met as potential friends rather than inevitable enemies. We planned to solve problems instead of just fighting them. We planned to build things instead of just breaking them. As the EU's Defiant prepared to leave for its next mission, helping to establish the first human coalition Titan world joint colony, the galaxy had already begun to change. The age of conquest was ending, replaced by something the universe had never seen before, an interstellar community built not on fear, but on the simple human idea that everyone deserved a chance to be better. The storm had passed, but what it left behind was far more powerful than any empire. The promise that no one had to face the darkness alone.